First video in a while. I won't make this one too long for you guys. I mean, the 7th and 8th grade, they were like 30-minute videos. You guys will be short, about 10 minutes. I just want to talk about castles. And first, I want to say really good job with the castle projects. They're really good. And you guys did a really nice job with those of you who did it, the making your own little emblem. They're very nice. So again, castles, they were built to be impressive, defensive. I just fixed something. Okay. Castles in the Middle Ages are different than what castles are today and palaces are today. When you think of, say, like Buckingham Palace, which is a castle, it's like this very grandeur looking, very beautiful building. That wasn't the purpose of castles in the time period that we're talking about. Yeah, they were supposed to be the home for the kings and the nobles, but they weren't pretty. Okay, these look nice. Castles are cool looking, but compared to castles that you gotta look at today, they're not meant to look pretty. They're meant to be defensive. Okay, so everything here is defensive. Let me just get the pointer. These are meant for defensive purposes. So these little windows. There's a reason those windows are so small. Those windows are so small and tight is because an archer is supposed to just point their arrow through that. That's why it's like that. Okay, the top, same deal. There's an opening here, because it's supposed to be an archer that kind of sticks out and shoots down. It's on the water. The reason it's on the water is because now there's only one way in, which would be the drawbridge. It's a drawbridge. It can go up. Okay, so it's all these defensive purposes. So I'll just read the slide. They were built to be impressive, defensive, a home, a treasury, and a courthouse. Okay, they were the residence of knights or nobles, or kings or nobles. They had soldiers and men of arms who lived inside the walls. The word castle means fortress and originated in France. Okay, people were under constant raids from the Vikings. Again, so you have these invaders who are coming. So when you're on a manor, again, we talked about manors. Okay, just trying to remember from where we were. When you're in a manor and someone comes to attack the land, you retreat into the castle because the castle is meant for protective reasons. And that says on the next point, this caused people to build fortresses for protection. Okay, the people of the manor would come into the castle if they were being attacked. Okay, Vikings didn't have siege technology, so fortresses were very efficient in keeping the enemy out. A siege is when you surround a castle. You either try to starve them out or you try to lay a siege and you try to attack them. You need ladders, you need not sledgehammers. You need technology that could break down the gate. A lot of stuff Vikings didn't have because Vikings were they're very nomadic. No one said they're nomads, but they didn't have this technology. Okay, so that's important to remember. So castles today and castles in the Middle Ages are very different. Inside these castles, if you've ever been to any of these, if you've ever gone to Europe, they're not meant to. They're protection. They're not warm. They're freezing. It's all stone. Some of it looks pretty because now you have artifacts inside of it that they put to make it look good. But back in the day, it'd just be like a wood table, a wood bed. It wasn't meant for luxury. Okay, you're not going to see that until 1500s, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s. Kind of like more when you get towards the Renaissance. Okay, in the 1800s, 1900s, where they build more of these beautiful, beautiful castles and palaces. Okay, but these castles that we're talking about in the Middle Ages, they're meant for protection. Okay, so you have moat castles and you have Bailey castles. Okay, these are the first types of castles that we're going to see early on. They're built on a mound of earth called a moat. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of quickly go through this. Early castles, okay, were built. Again, you have these moats that surround it for water for protection, but they were actually built out of wood. Okay, and the walls are made out of wood. And again, this is a little manor. You have people who would live here. You'd have the noble or the king or the lord, whoever it was, would live up here on top of the mound of dirt. But again, it was wood. This is all wood. Okay, and the issue with wood is you can burn it down. The Vikings are able to burn. Vikings have fire. Vikings are able to burn down wood. Okay, so that's going to be an issue early on. And just go right away is what they're going to do is they're going to, and you see here, this is burnt down. They're going to change from wood and they're going to change to stone. Okay, so because of the use of fire to burn down these fortresses, stone became the material of choice. Every detail is devoted to defense or intimidation. Okay, it took about 100 different craftsmen to build a castle. Holes were built into the outside walls to be used for scaffolding. Okay, scaffolding, you guys know what a scaffold is. Castles were built layer by layer as they would move the scaffolding once it reached the height of the scaffolding, so they move it up. So if you were building this wall, you'd start down here and you'd move the scaffolding up, build up the wall or up the tower. Okay. All castles had glass, but I don't like that one because I don't think it's really necessary. Ignore that. Okay. Castles were built as killing machines. Okay. And again, they're meant as defensive positions. So if you're going to try to attack it, you're going to have a really tough time. Okay. And this kind of talks more about the defenses of a castle. Okay. So a great location would be on a cliff or a peninsula. A peninsula is a piece of land surrounded on three sides by water. Reason being is now you have one way in. Okay, unless you're going to attack by sea, but that's not really plausible. Okay, moats sometimes filled with water. There's no crocodiles or dragons or hippos. I don't know why they said dragons, but there's no crocodiles. So kind of misconception is that they would put crocodiles in the moat. They didn't. What they would do is they have these long sticks that are sharpened at the end, but they would put down and make it difficult. If you want to go down individually, you could no cavalry, and you wouldn't be able to get siege weapons down. Okay. Also, the moat isn't nice, beautiful water. It's waste. So it's the waste from the castle that's pushed out into the moat. So if you're going to go and attack the castle through the moat, you're going through human waste essentially. Okay. Walls are 25 feet thick at the bottom and thinner at the top. All right. Again, thicker at the bottom to support the rest of the castle. Towers with crenels, which are openings. So this is here. This is what I was talking about. Okay. This is for the archers. So you have this, and then arrow slits for archers designed to cover every angle of the wall. So the arrow slits aren't showed here, they're showed here. Okay, this is an arrow slit, that's where an archer would be. And notice how it's pointing out in every direction. Okay, so again, looks pretty, but it's not, it's meant for fighting. All right, continuing with the defenses. Okay, stones were dropped from the highest part of the wall when the attacking forces were close. They throw stones down. It's kind of like dropping a grenade, so they would explode and rock shrapnel would hit the troops. Porticos were iron or wooden gates. So yeah, here, okay. Wooden main gate, 5 inches thick. Use a battering ram to get through it. The battering ram, would be a siege weapon, okay, something the Vikings didn't have. Murder holes, holes in the ceiling of an entryway where bullets would be dropped onto the enemy below, which is right here. Okay, so this is, you can't really see it because this one doesn't have it actually. But imagine the gate, which you can kind of see right here, and the people are trying to go through the gate. You'd have the defending troops on top dropping the rocks down. Okay, most castles had dungeons, which were a place to hold prisoners. Some had torture equipment like the rack, but many did not. Okay, medieval torture, a lot of it that you guys read about is actually made up. There's a good video on it. I'm not going to show it because you guys are in 6th grade. But dungeons were just used for prisoners. Okay, you throw them down there. Prisoners of war, spies, things like that. Okay, all right. All right. Last one. I just want to talk about castles today. This is actually talks about guilds, which is you guys made these emblems the other day. All right, so castles building started to decline when gunpowder was invented. The reason it started to decline was now you can use gunpowder. You can make a kind of early version of a bomb, put it near the wall, set it off, destroy the wall, run in. Okay. You could also use cannonballs that would easily bring down, not easily, but if you keep on kind of hitting it, it would bring down the wall, and therefore they're not these impenetrable defensive fortresses. Okay, that they were against the Vikings or other invaders who really didn't have the technology to attack it, okay, and take it down. And then also the feudal system started to decline with the growth of more centralized government. Again, the feudal system is you have kings, lords, and vassals. knights, and then serfs. And it's spread out. There's a centralized king, and he has the lords and vassals that are around, but the lords and vassals kind of control their own land. With centralized governments, you don't have these lords and vassals who have control over their own land, like a big portion of land, and they don't need a castle anymore. So a lot of the castles are kind of torn down or destroyed. You can still see castles. When I went to Ireland, there are plenty of castles that we saw, and they're really cool. There's a lot in France as well, and kind of peppered throughout Europe. Um, but they're empty. They're really not. I mean, some of them, again, they put stuff in there to make it look pretty, but it's not what they looked like back in the Middle Ages. In the Middle Ages, they were dark, damp, and cold. Again, they were just meant for defensive purposes. So that's really the biggest takeaway. A lot of you guys did a really good job with your own slides of studying castles, but I just wanted to kind of give you mine. Tomorrow, I'll post no more notes, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay?